Welcome each and everyone to this video. Today I'm going to speak on the prophetic significance of the lotus flower, Donald Trump's gift to the Pope. When I did a search on the lotus flower, I came upon Mike on the point of preparedness video, and I'm going to share that video with you in a moment's time. But what I want to say firstly is that in the first video, please do watch that previous video. It's very important to understand what we are talking about. Watch that first video. This piece here, this little piece, was under Barack Obama's feet, and that still puzzles me as to why that piece would have been under his feet. But having said that, I want to warn you people that be very careful what you bring in your house. It is very important for the sense, because there's curses on that stuff that you bring in your home, especially when you buy jewelry, crosses, you get the accents and the pentagons. Be very careful. I had a pentagon in my house. I didn't realize it, but I was troubled with demons until I searched my house for what that could be. And I found a pentagon and that is a pentagon star. And I'll show you that in a moment. It was this one, something like that, a star like that. Yeah. So be very careful what you bring in your house and what you portray to the public outside there. Like, for instance, Donald Trump, he stands behind the satanic plan. It speaks of the New World Order. That's angelic being behind Donald Trump. They did this on purpose. Each one stand behind a pledge to Satan. And there is another one as well. Do watch this videos. All world presidents have a covenant with Satan. Except for the Ghana's president and Tanzania. They stand up against the New World Order. Okay, so, and I'm blessed by that. So, Fidel Castro, he spoke from hell. God showed him Fidel Castro, a missionary. Jesus took him down to hell and told the demon angel, one of the fallen angels, to speak. Let Fidel Castro speak. And he said that all world presidents have a covenant with Satan, which is true, because all world governments do belong to Satan. And we need to pray for the Tanzanian president and for Ghana as well, that really standing up against the New World Order regime. Yeah, having said that, I don't want to take long on that. As I said, be careful for what you bring in your house. Pray about it, whatever. Always check out your homes, especially if you find demonic activity in your home. Okay, so and this is the scripture I just want to bring you to your attention before I show you that video. Then I saw another beast coming up. Listen carefully. Up, out, up, out, up, out of the earth, and that indicates a resurrection that is going to take place. Up, out of the earth speaks of a resurrection. So if you identify who the person is, and it is Mr. Donald Trump, he is the second piece. He is the one. Read Revelation 13:11, the functions of the second piece. He is in charge of the monetary system, financial system, and he He did a study in that for about 2-4 years. Yes, economy. He's in charge of the Reserve Bank, actually took it over for that matter. Yeah, and he will cause everyone on earth to get a mark on the forehead or on the right hand. And that he said in his campaigns, and he mentioned it many times, that in his administration, the biometric system will be in the land, it will be in the sea, and it will be in the air. And having space programs doing it, he sets up that space program. He's behind the 5G, he's behind all of that. I just have to speak the truth, people. I am very direct. I'm not coming behind soft soap or sugarcoat message. I say the thing as it is. So without further ado, I'm going over to that message. Okay, before I sign off, don't forget about the community post on my channel. There is a lot of newsletters there, and videos that you can go and watch as well. So please share these videos, subscribe to this channel, and be blessed.
Hey everyone, this is Mike with On Point Preparedness. Today I have to share with you an incredible prophetic message that I believe was revealed directly to me by the Father. In this video, I will not only share with you the prophetic event that happened between Pope Francis and Donald Trump's May 24th meeting, but how God revealed its significant importance to me. As I write the words to this video, I am still marveling at the circumstances which led me to decipher this event. There is a second beast, the beast of the earth, who subdues the world into worshiping the beast system, and that beast of the earth is the United States of America. If you are in disagreement with these concepts, or they are completely foreign to you, I have placed some of my most pivotal YouTube videos on this subject in the YouTube description box for your convenience. Ever since the events of September 23rd, 2015, where these two beasts came together for a historic event in which Pope Francis spoke to a joint session of Congress, I have followed the relationship of these entities in detail. Therefore, when Donald Trump took office, I took the position that Donald Trump was not a Christian savior appointed by the Lord, but the new head of the beast of the earth.
But have you ever asked God for forgiveness? I'm not sure I have. I just go and try and do a better job from there. I don't think so. I think if I do something wrong, I think I just try and make it right. I don't bring God into that picture. I don't. Now, when I take, when we go in church and when I drink my little wine, which is about the only wine I drink, and have my little cracker, I guess that's a form of asking for forgiveness. And I do that as often as possible because I feel cleansed, okay?
I stated on record in January 2017 that he and Pope Francis would come together, despite opposition from the mainstream media and many of my subscribers, who stated that the two were so diametrically opposed that they would not meet. And so here we are on May 24th, 2017, where these two leaders have come together seeking common goals, that is, the unification of religions in the spirit of peace, solidarity, and combating extremism. All in all, their meeting lasted less than an hour, and on its surface, there was some symbolism that I had anticipated. That is, Trump and his family would submit to Pope Francis. Sure enough, they did so as Melania, Ivanka, and their aide all wore black veils and black dresses, which is a common practice of submission or respect amongst formal female visitors to the Vatican. This is in stark contrast to the fact that none of these women or any of the women in the Trump entourage wore any head covering at all during their visit to Saudi Arabia. However, the symbolism goes much, much deeper than this, and it is in regards to the gift that Donald Trump presented to Pope Francis. So what is this gift and what prophetic significance does it have? First, let me help you understand how God communicates with me and how he said that I must focus on Donald's gift. With what little free time I had, I picked up the following wild edible book from my collection of about 12 or so wild edible books. Each of these books is several hundred pages long and contain information about hundreds of different plants. I was only able to read a single section about one plant which I had not researched before, and that is the North American lotus plant, known as the Nelumbo lutea. This event by itself is essentially meaningless. That is, until I recognized that one of the gifts that Donald Trump presented to Pope Francis was a bronze sculpture of the exact lotus species I was reading about 3 days earlier. Is it mere coincidence that of all the gifts that Donald Trump could present to Pope Francis, it would be one species of plant out of several thousands of species of plants? And that I, one who committed to his subscribers that this event would be prophetic and that I would be analyzing the symbolism, would have read about this very same species only 3 days earlier. So what is the important symbolism? The lotus is one of the most occult and ancient symbols of the natural world. And the fact that Donald Trump chose this sculpture, which was entitled Rising Above, is of grave concern. The lotus is the flower sacred to the Aryan Hindus, Egyptians, Buddhists, and more. References to it are found in the Egyptian Book of the Dead, the Jewish mystic religion of Kabbalism, and several other pagan religion texts and sculptures. For the occult, it represents the divine rebirth unto enlightenment, an abstract concept that is brought to life in the concrete or visible form of a lotus. It is, in essence, the same symbolism as the enlightenment of the all-seeing third eye. To name a few examples of its prevalence, you can see this in the occult film I, Pet Goat 2, where a lotus flower is seen blooming at the heels of then President Obama. His face grows stark as he witnesses the reality of this transformative stage of enlightenment. In Egypt, you can see here the 4 sons of Horus being birthed out of the lotus flower. In Buddhism, Buddha is frequently attributed to holding the lotus, and the list goes on and on. The reason why the occult reveres this flower and its symbolism of rebirth unto enlightenment is best described by Helena P. Blavatsky, who is the co-founder of the Theosophical Society, and she writes specifically on the lotus flower. For reference, the Theosophical Society shares ideology and partnership with the Lucis Trust, an organization that directly worships Lucifer and states that he is a misrepresented angel that sacrificed himself for the good of mankind. In her book, The Secret Doctrine, she references a passage from the Kabbalistic manuscripts, which states, pointing to like signification was the lotus growing in the waters of the Nile. Its mode of growth peculiarly fitted it as a symbol of reproductive activities. The flower of the lotus, which is the bearer of the seed for reproduction, as the result of its maturing, is connected by its placenta-like attachment with Mother Earth, or the womb of Isis, through the water of the womb, that is, the river Nile, by means of the long cord-like stalk, the umbilicus, Nothing can be plainer than the symbol, and to make it perfect in its intended signification, a child is sometimes represented as seated in or issuing from the flower. So you can now see how the occult viewed the flower as a symbol of rebirth as a child, or this rebirth into enlightenment, represented by a child coming out of the flower head. The Kabbalistic manuscript continues with the sexual and reproductive symbolism of the lotus. It states the locality of the womb is to be taken as the most holy place, the sanctum sanctorum, and the veritable temple of the living God. This falls in line with all occult practices, as they practice sex magic and literally worship the female body. She also makes note of the lotus from the ancient Egyptian ritual Book of the Dead, which has a section entitled Transformation into the Lotus. It states, a head emerging from this flower, the god exclaims, "I am the pure lotus, emerging from the luminous one. I carry the message of Horus. I am the pure lotus which comes from the solar fields." So, I believe that the Antichrist spirit was definitely at work in this meeting. Any multitude of gifts could have been given to Pope Francis. Books, medallions, sentimental items, other pieces of art, etc. But out of these multitudes, Donald Trump chose the lotus. As the Egyptian Book of the Dead states, is Donald affirming that he carries the message or gift of Horus, an enlightened message essentially from Lucifer? I guess that is up for you to decide.